Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Once again, welcome to another session of Coach Steele's Finance Training. Happy to have everybody tuning in on today. You already know what to do. Get your popcorn ready, get yourself situated, put the Bluetooths in, turn me up on YouTube, put me on the TV, whatever it takes. Get yourself ready. If you're cooking, keep cooking. If you're cleaning, keep cleaning. It is Coach Steele's Finance Training, and we're going to have another session on today. And our lesson on today is create and manage cash flow efficiently. So happy to have everybody tuning in on today. Hopefully you are ready to learn something new and also add to what we're talking about, your life experiences, how it has impacted you, and be able to share with the rest of the team how you're doing when it comes to creating cash flow efficiently. And I can't wait to talk about cash flow, the definition of it, and make sure that we are all on the same page. Good morning to my lovely wife, Yvette, still tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training on today. Let's get this party started. Make sure you share the live with someone else on your social media platform so we can share that knowledge when it comes to financial literacy. So, when we talk about create and manage cash flow efficiently, as y'all are tuning in, make sure you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. When we talk about creating and manage cash flow efficiently, what does that mean to you? Feel free in that comment section to just say what that means to you. What comes to your mind when it comes to create, not only creating the cash flow, but also managing it efficiently. Some people can create cash flow, but they're not good at managing it. And so we need to know first what cash flow is. When it comes to creating and managing cash flow efficiently, I want to, probably give you about 5 different points on today. First thing you need to do is understand your cash flow first. That's priority. Everybody needs to be able to understand their cash flow. Everyone's cash flow looks a little different. And depending on what line of work you're in or what business you're in, you may be able to determine cash flow sooner than other people. Now, of course, if you're in a business, you got to wait probably towards the end of the month after all bills, expenses, and paid. If you have employees, after you paid everyone, insurance, you name it. There's a lot of factors that come into play to determine what cash flow is. Good morning to you, Big Courtney with a K. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training on today. And as we talk about cash flow, I want to make sure that I'm very distinct when I use this vocabulary term versus what someone else may think themselves. So, when we talk about the flow of your cash, that is the movement of money in and out of your household or your business or your checking account, savings accounts, different things like that, your wallets. That is the flow of cash. But today, what I'm talking about is your cash flow. So when I'm speaking about CF, your cash flow, I'm talking about what is left over at the EOM, the end of the month, after you pay all bills, after you pay all expenses, after you pay all overhead, what is left over at the end of the month in your bank account. And so when you see what is left over after you pay all bills and expenses, then you have that cash flow. You know what it is. And so I'm talking about how to create more of that and how to manage it once it's created or once you find it. What do you do with it? What do you do with that extra money? And so do we spend it? Do we splurge it? What is the best strategy on how to create and manage that cash flow that we work so hard for? Now, as we continue to go a little bit further in here, one thing that you need to do to understand your cash flow is you need to start by tracking all your income sources and all your expenses, I would say for at least 30 to 60 days. My personal choice is you take 2 months and you get the average of 2 months. And so as you're tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, heart, all that good stuff. And make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook as well. So you want to track for about 60 days and find the average of your monthly bills and expenses. Why? This is going to give you clarity on where your money is going and where your money came from as well, where it's leaking, and what can be optimized, what can you tighten up, what can you fix, what can you work on. So that's number one, is understand your cash flow first. And most people don't even understand their cash flow. They don't know where it's coming from. They don't know what's going on. So keep that in mind. And not only do you have to understand your cash flow first, you have to understand how to determine it, how to find it, and know what cash flow is. And if you really want to tighten up in that area on creating it and understanding what it is, then I'll get with point number two next, which is, and I'll make sure that I put it up on the screen for those of you that are taking notes. And thank you for those that are tuning in on YouTube as well. You need to organize your expenses into about three categories. Now, it's pretty simple. Does anybody know what the three categories your expenses should be organized into? This is where you get to interact here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, and you can tell me what three categories should you organize your expenses in. And I talk about it all the time. So if you've been a consistent student on here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, if you've been part of the team and the community here, you should know all three categories, but maybe you only know one. So let's see what you know. If your hands are available, let me see some comments in that comment section of those three categories. All right. What three categories do we separate our spending in? All right. I'm going to spill the beans. Good morning to you, Mr. Tim Scott. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training on today. When you're separating your spending, your money, you need to be separating it into three categories: needs, wants, and savings. That is correct. Too blessed for you. You are 100% correct there. Thank you for tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training with the right answer. I'm going to give you a round of applause. That is correct. So when you start separating it into three categories, oh, this is like the worst part of budgeting. This is the part where it's like disgusting. You get your hands dirty. You're finding all kind of stuff because some things you felt you need, you start realizing maybe I don't need this as much because I got 2026 goals. I got things that I want to accomplish. There's things I want to tackle financially. And this thing that I have right here, I don't need it so much as I thought I did. And so Courtney puts needs, wants, and future. And that future, you can put savings, yes, your investments, things like that. So that's pretty close as well. Now, what are some needs in that comment section on today? All right, this is where it gets interesting. And it's always good to practice this. Some of you may be very familiar with it. But what are some needs? What are some necessities? If we're putting bills and expenses in the need category, what are some of those needs? Be interesting to see what some needs are. For some of you, Starbucks might be a need. Is Starbucks a need? I don't think so. For some other people, you may have some needs that aren't needs. So you got to work with that thing. You got to deal with it when you're truly trying to improve your budget. What are some needs? Okay, we got Pamela Francis saying food. Food is a need. Oh my goodness, the ladies are just turning up on today. Now, why did all the ladies put food? Okay, yeah, no comment. I'm gonna stop right there. Okay, we got shelter, vehicles, food, the mortgage payment. Yes, because that counts as the shelter. That is correct as well. So food and shelter are definitely some needs. We got food, shelter for Tim Scott. We got food, clothing, shelter for Yvette Steele. Y'all are correct. Those are a lot of those needs. Definitely want some clothes as well. So now, if you already have clothes, check this out, ladies and gentlemen, but check this out, ladies. If y'all already have clothes are a need, but shopping for more clothes is not necessarily a need. Yes, you hit the nail on the head, Pamela Francis. So, ladies, and gentlemen, as you are trying to tackle and accomplish your financial goals, if you go shopping every month, if you're always on Amazon and all these other different platforms, that's not necessarily a need. That is a want where you're taking time to spend extra money that isn't required because you already have certain clothes and things like that. Uh-oh. I think I'm talking about shopping, and that might be Courtney. She might be sad about that part, but we're going to deal with that. So, housing, utilities, food, transportation, and a lot of times people forget insurance. I count that as a need as well. You want to have house insurance, you want to have health insurance, you want to have life insurance, you want to have certain insurances in place, car insurance. So, I think that's Courtney's response to the shopping. And so Tim Scott said, Amen. So as we go and we talk about this, you want to separate things into needs. Okay, now here's the list for the wants. In that comment section, what are wants? As you're separating, because we got to get to the cash flow. I love getting the cash flow. I got an amazing story about my struggles with trying to find cash flow when I was in my early 20s versus now, right? So what are some wants? And that in your budget, when you're looking at your expenses, y'all should fill this up. Most people, it's easy to fill up wants because the majority of our budget is a bunch of wants. So in that comment section, go ahead. Oh, there you go, Pam. There you go. Vacation, trips, wants. I got some people on Coach Steele's finance training. They'll try to put vacation and trips in the need because they'll say mentally they need those vacations and those trips to maintain themselves. But you can always go just to the local beach or somewhere like that, or go for a walk or do a picnic. Okay. Oh, Lord. Courtney got trips, shopping, eating out. Yes. So the places, the Starbucks, the McDonald's, the Burger King. I just went to Cheesecake Factory a couple days ago. Those are all wants. Those are all wants. They're not necessity. Anybody have Netflix? Come on now, y'all holding back when we talk about the wants. Those subscriptions, Netflix, Hulu. What are some other subscriptions? New clothes, shoes, vacation, fancy restaurants. Yes, the fancy restaurants, definitely. What else? What are some of those wants? Ooh, spa, nails. That we got that going on. Nobody has a okay. You know, I would even dare to say that gym memberships. Now, gym health is wealth. Technically, you could work out at home or in the front yard or in the garage or in your room, different things like that. There we go, Courtney. We got Peacock, want. HBO, cable, want. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, want. Going to the movies, want. Because we could go get a book for free from the library and just have a blast in that book. But we go get things. Ooh, this good right here. You touching a nerve right here. Too blessed for you. When you talk about hair, going to get the hair done, things like that. Ooh, ladies, if you want to really save some money, start working on doing your hair on your own. And okay, I don't want to mess with. I don't want to beef with hairdressers. Never mind. Leave that alone. But yes, there are ways. When you look at your wants, there are a lot of ways to save money when it comes to things that you don't necessarily have to do. All right, Pam, PS5. Yep, PlayStation. Sister Williams wants to renovate bathrooms, replace carpet with floors, replace pavilion with boutique. Ooh, now we're talking about some wants that's expensive. We're talking about $1,000 wants. Now, this is interesting. Pamela Francis, I agree with you. Gaming is a want unless that person has found a way to stream with gaming and monetize and make some money from it. Then I changed my mind there. But yes, y'all are getting with a lot of these wants. So a lot of times we'll go to the store, don't even need anything. It's just stuff that we want. We will go get and waste money. So we got needs, wants, and then we got savings. So what are some list of things where we say, uh-oh, We got Courtney say, okay, I'm logging off with the hair comment. I cut it short. I cut it short. I know I'm going to touch some nerves. So when we look at this SUV big enough to carry grandbabies, that's what I'm talking about. Wants. See, we got thousands of dollars of wants there. That's a whole nother level. So, guys, when we talk about savings, what are some categories? What are some different places where we put our extra money left over? When we talk about cash flow, when we have that cash flow, where are locations that we can take that cash flow and put it that fall under the category of savings? I want you all to name some in the comment section. And some of the things you name, somebody else will have never thought about or didn't know about, and you might help educate someone on a different avenue or a different asset class where they can put that cash flow, their savings. Because we're talking about not only creating this cash flow, making adjustments in our budget, but also managing the cash flow efficiently. Where are some places when we do get cash flow that we can put it so that the money can grow? We can make our money multitask. And that's what we talk about a lot here on Coach Steele's finance training, is how to make our money multitask. We talked a lot about the wants. We talked about subscriptions, entertainment. Some of us, we go to football games, basketball games, sporting events, lifestyle upgrades, all of these different things. So when we have this extra cash flow, when we make adjustments in our budget, when we cancel off some of those subscriptions and things that we don't need, where are some places that we can put our money? I like this answer right here. Pamela Francis, money market fund. Yes, you can put your money in a money market account. Hopefully it's making, I would say right about now, because the Feds just lowered the rate, at least I would say about 3.3 to close to 4% interest. That's what range you want to be in right there. So whether you put it in a money market account or what Anitra Perry just put, good morning to you, Anitra Perry, a high yield interest savings account. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, it is Anitra's Perry's birthday. So everybody in the comment section, I need y'all to stop what you're doing and just blow up the comment section and say happy birthday, Anitra. And if enough people say happy birthday, I'll even tell y'all how old she is. So I need y'all in that comment section to blow it up. I know I told y'all to write the things about savings account. We'll get back to that. Everybody listening, tuning in on today, as y'all share this live on your platform with other people, just say happy birthday, Anitra, or HBD, however it is, the initials. And so that's my older sister. So I know she wants me to tell y'all how old she is on today. Oh my goodness, we up there. You know what I'm saying? So as y'all are telling her happy birthday, she's correct. High yield interest savings account. Too blessed for you. Retirement investment account. So yes, you have retirement investment accounts. Also kind of basically what Mr. Tim Scott put, which is IRA, individual retirement account. That's what that IRA stands for. And so you can have a Roth IRA, you can have a traditional IRA. Do your homework, do your research, find out the difference between the two, the pros and the cons of a traditional, the pros and cons of a Roth, so you can decide which one you want to put your money in and why, what makes the most sense for you. Life insurance to create generational wealth. Thank you, Sister Williams. You are correct 100%. That's another place where you can take that extra cash flow at the end of the month and put in life insurance. I'm not a big stickler. Get whatever type of life insurance you want, whether it's term, whether it's whole, as long as you have some insurance. You know, anybody can debate the difference between the two and why you should get one or the other. I'm a firm believer, get insurance. We can debate which one you should have later. Make sure you have some first, and then we'll have another discussion. So yes, Pam says happy birthday. Courtney says happy birthday. Anitra says SMH. Happy birthday, Anitra. Happy birthday. Yes, Tim, happy birthday. My goodness, just getting showered with the birthday blessings. All right. So Pam says whole life insurance. I like whole life insurance as well. Courtney, she's touching on what I love, which is real estate investing. I am a long-term real estate investor. I like the long hold. And so, I'm going to behave, y'all. I'm not going to say nothing about her age. She said, then I'll be forced to tell them about your other talents. All right. So, y'all not going to know how old she is on today. And so Sister Williams got your birthday cake as well. So as we are going further on and leaving birthdays alone, having structure in your budget allows you to control the cash flow without feeling restricted. Now, like I told y'all before, there was a point in time in my 20s where my cash flow was nada, nunca. It was not there. It did not exist. So eventually I finally got to a point where I had at least $10 left over at the end of every month. And I was super excited. It was like big for me because I had never had extra cash flow at the end of every month. So as we go a little bit further and we talk about this, ladies and gentlemen, another thing that happened to me was I started calling these companies and saying, hey, can you reduce this? Can you take care of that? Just little adjustments here and there. And so as I went further, I eventually had an extra $25 left over at the end of every month. Now, after I had $25 left over at the end of every month, oh, you couldn't tell me nothing. I went and got me an IRA, an individual retirement account. And I purposely went and got a Roth IRA. Now, one thing I didn't see that was on there of locations you can put your money, extra money that's left over at the end of every month. Another thing you could have put up there was 401k. Some of you all work for companies. That extra money, you automatically, and we're going to deal with that on today as well, automating certain things, it automatically goes to your 401k account. And that's another positive place to pay your future self as well. Dollar cost averaging over a long period of time. Some of your companies may match to a certain amount depending on what you put in, and they'll match as well. Now, of course, like I said, the structure allows you to control cash flow without feeling restricted. After I got $25 left over at the end of every month, you couldn't tell me nothing. I had a retirement account finally. I was putting $25 every month in there, and a Roth IRA. Certain retirement accounts, they only allow you to put a certain amount in every year that you get to a max, to a certain point. I think if you go past that, then maybe there's some type of penalty or something. So just think about that. Those are things to find out as well, to see which financial tool works best for you in your situation, because there's different types of IRAs or self-directed Roth IRAs. There's different retirement accounts for self-employed people, or whether or not you work for a company. TSPs, 403Bs, 457s, the list goes on. Now, let's get to number 3, which I just briefly touched on. I want you all to challenge yourself in 2026. In 2026, I want you all to practice increasing the gap between your income and your expenses. For some of you, your income and expenses, once you pay everything out, that gap is very small. Now, when I do my research and I do my math, I come to find out, and I talked about this last year as well on one of the lives, and you can always go back and watch the videos on Coach Steele's finance training on YouTube. I talked about this last year. The stats say about 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So if you live paycheck to paycheck, there is no wiggle room. There is no cash flow in between the lines. There's no gap. There's no great gulf that is there. Good morning to you, Felicia Richardson. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's finance training. So most people, their funds are tight. And I know why their funds are tight, because many people carry what we call bad debt. And that's the credit cards, personal loans, student loans, not mortgage, personal loans, student loans, car notes, and I'm forgetting something. I already said car notes. Well, anyway, credit cards. So when you have all of that, it eats up your cash flow every month. And so you have to be strategic to get rid of the consumer debt. And once you get rid of the consumer debt, it frees up more cash flow. So some people, your funds are tight, and I need you all in 2026 to increase the gap between your income and expenses so that there's something left over. I started out with $10, then got $25. Then I could start putting money in a retirement account. And it just continued to get bigger and bigger. I always show you all and I simulate on my dividend stock portfolio where I put $25 a month in there every month, and you all get to see the slow growth of it and how it's growing over a period of time. And I just did something pretty cool with my dividend stock portfolio. I'll make a video about that so you all can see. And so last time you all saw the growth of it and the dividends of it, it's doing very, very well right now. And so with it doing very well, I'm able to actually leverage that dividend stock while it still grows. And I'll try not to go too deep into that, but it's pretty cool what I can do with it. So, and I've put the link in my description for M1 Finance so you can open up and create your own dividend stock portfolio. When you look in the description, you'll see a link for high yield interest savings account. You'll see a link to do Groundfloor Investing. There's a lot of links in there where you can explore. If you have questions, feel free to email me and I can answer some questions for you. You see the email down there at the bottom of the ticker there. So now you create this cash flow by eliminating certain wants. We've separated things into different categories. And so, or you negotiate with the phone company or whoever and save yourself $5 here, $20 here, $10 here. And so as you separate, now you create a bigger gap. And as I continue to do that, man, I don't have just $10 left over at the end of every month. I don't just have $25 left over at the end of every month. Now there's a big gap because I have mastered on how to increase my cash flow. And I want everyone on here to master how to increase your cash flow, not just by eliminating debt, but also finding other creative ways to make some moolah, find some other creative ways to make some extra money, increase that gap. In that comment section, put I'm going to increase that gap or put increase the gap, whatever it is that you want to speak into 2026. I need you all to increase the gap, increase your cash flow so that we can have some more money left over. Because when you have extra money left over at the end of the month, it gives us an opportunity to invest in different asset classes. And that's all you want. You want to give yourself a fighting chance. You want to give yourself an opportunity to invest in other asset classes, because when you can invest in other asset classes, you can make your money multitask. You can make your money work for you. And so I see in that comment section, we got, let's see here. We got Felicia Richardson, increase the gap. That's what I'm talking about. Sheila Thomas, increase the gap. We got Courtney Ellis. I'm going to increase the gap. That's what I'm going to do. My cash flow is going to increase. And then one of my streams of income, ladies and gentlemen, I know it sounds like I'm hopping all over the place. One of my streams of income, it increased by $100 last month. This month, I saw extra $100 in that stream of income, right? And y'all know I said earlier, I put $25 every month into the dividend stock portfolio. So what I'm going to do is pretend like I don't see that extra $100, and I'm going to reroute it and send it to the dividend stock portfolio. So now the dividend stock portfolio is going to grow even faster because now I'm going to put $125 every month in there. So the gap that I created, and so the banks, when they increase a gap, they call it the arbitrage. That's a whole nother story. That's why you have to make your money multitask. That's why you have to put your money to work in different asset classes, because if you leave it sitting in the bank will take your money. Well, they have the opportunity, they have the right to take 90% of the value of your money and loan it out. And if they go make 8%, but your account is only making 1%, there's 7% gap. That's the arbitrage. They keep the gap and they just give you the little bit. So now let's go a little bit further. Some of y'all are on here. Yvette said increase the gap. Shauna Johnson put increase the gap. That's what I'm talking about. My entrepreneurs on here. Y'all going to make some more products. Y'all are going to sell some more products. Tim Scott, increase the gap. And Anitra put increase the gap. Anitra, increase the gap on your birthday. You need to put on your Facebook post, and everybody, I don't know, put your Cash App up there on your Facebook post. Maybe some people will shower you with some extra and increase the gap on today. Pam says, how do you prioritize to increase the gap? Good question. So one thing I mentioned earlier, Pam, and it's actually going to one of my other points, is when you're increasing the gap, efficient cash flow is about widening the margin, and you can do this by increasing your income. And how do you increase your income? Well, I'll put a list of things on there. So we're going to deal with the first part, and we just talked about it a little bit on how do we increase that gap. Raises, side hustle, or create passive income. Some people in their savings account, the money isn't making any extra money. It's just sitting in a savings account making like less than 1% interest. Easy, short, quick way to increase the gap is sit your money in a high yield interest savings account. That's FDIC insured. I have the link in the description. And so if you want to increase the gap, all you have to do is open up a high yield interest savings account, click that link. You're going to see it shows you have an opportunity to make an extra $325. If you put $50 in that account within the first 14 days, they're going to give you an extra $25, increasing the gap. Plus, it's going to make higher interest over a period of time. So you can create passive income like I do. I like real estate investing. That's how I increase the gap. And that's how, I can't dive too deep into that on today. And so another thing, like I said, creating side hustles. I don't care if you're babysitting for a couple months for someone to eliminate some debt, take up an extra side job for a couple months to pay off a credit card, whatever it is, increase the gap. ITG. And so, yes, Courtney, you want to do income producing assets. We got Courtney Ellis. She has a women's event coming up in actually it's a couple weeks. It's right around the corner. And so you all, that's another way to increase the gap. Host an event. Make sure that event is profitable. And I was actually hoping that I had the flyer on here, y'all. Be patient with me. I think I can find it. January 24th at 11 a.m. Tickets are $25. Y'all make sure y'all go get a ticket. Courtney is hosting an event. It's for women. It's for entrepreneurs. So when you talk about increasing the gap, this is another opportunity right here to go network, talk with other people, share your business ideas, also create a vision board so that you can work on and put a legitimate plan together on how to increase the gap. And of course, if y'all missed it a couple weeks ago, we did a interview with Big Court. So you can always go back and watch that video on Coach Steele's finance training. All right. So let's go a little bit further, ladies and gentlemen. Another way we increase the gap, because Pam asked this. Okay, this is what people don't like to do right here, but this is one of the easiest ways to increase the gap. And I'll make sure I add that in on here as well. So reducing or negotiating expenses. I probably do this at least 3 to 4 times a year, especially when I was really, really trying to increase my cash flow. I'm getting on the phone with every service provider. I'm getting on the phone with everybody that's taking money from me, and we having a conversation. We got to talk. In that comment section, just put, we got to talk. You know how like when you're dating someone or you're married, and usually it's the women, y'all always do this. I don't know why. Y'all got to stop. You really got to stop. But y'all always say, we need to talk. You know how y'all do that. And then we don't know what y'all want to talk about. We don't know if it's good or bad. It could be something simple. It could be complex. Instead of y'all just telling me what it's about, y'all want to say, we need to talk. And so when it comes to increasing the gap, I'm going to get off my soapbox. When it comes to increasing the gap, you got to reduce and you got to start renegotiating. I need to talk to AT&T. I need to talk to Verizon. I need to talk to Cricket, whoever it is. We got to have a conversation because this ain't going the way that I need it to go right now. And if it can't go the way that I need it to go, then I might need to jump ship. I might need to cut this off completely. See, when you're creating streams of income into different companies and things like that, guess what? They don't want to lose your business. Oh, this is so good right here, Pam, because I'm answering your question. Some people have automatic payments set up to go on their credit cards, right? And because you got your credit card, and it's on auto pay. Every year when they increase it by a little bit, y'all know how Netflix and Amazon Prime and all these different places do. They just increase it by a teensy bit, just by a little bit. You don't even notice it. It's on automatic pay. It just comes out. Every time they continue to increase it by a little bit, the monthly payment is out of sight, out of mind. And so certain people, you got to reach out to them and talk to them and say, hey, is there a way we can adjust my plan? Why is my phone bill so high? What can we do? They don't want to lose your business. So they're going to make adjustments. And when they make those adjustments, you got to see mathematically, does it make sense for me to continue, or do I need to disconnect from them completely? So eliminating low value spending, the larger the gap, the more money you can deploy toward wealth building. I'm passionate about deploying money towards wealth building. A lot of times I teach about the 50-30-20 rule. I won't talk a lot about it on today. Some people are intimidated by that. And I see y'all in the comment section. We got to talk. I like the way Miss Sheila put it on there. We got to talk. Like, this is necessary. We got to talk. So car insurance can be lowered. Very good point. We got to talk, car insurance company. I lowered ours by $200 last year. That's what I'm talking about. That's money saved. Every time you increase the gap, you've just put more money in your pocket to deploy into other investments, to deploy into your retirement, to deploy into that dividend stock, to deploy into those, what I like to call those 3-year to 5-year amortized notes, mortgage notes. In other words, you invest money, you become the lender. And as the lender, people pay you back during that 3 to 5 year amortized time as well. And so that hopefully answers some of your questions about how to increase the gap, Pam. Now, number 4, automate and allocate intentionally. I talked the other day at church about being intentional. And so you have to be very strategic about this when you automate certain things. Some people have things automated and they shouldn't. And I wish I had more time to get into that. But good morning to you, Mr. Brandon. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's finance trainer, Mr. Brandon Bouget. So even when it comes to automating, like some people every month, they're dollar cost averaging, they're DCAing into certain stocks, into certain investments, and they have it on auto. Boom, it's automatically coming out of the account. I do that with my dividend stocks. That $25 I told you all, it automatically comes out every month. And I told you all, now I'm going to increase it to $125. Brandon, do you put your investments, are there certain money that you put on auto to go into your stocks or your portfolio that you invest in as well? And so just remember, automate and allocate. You have to allocate those funds. Now, some people are entrepreneurs, so you're not sure when money is coming in and things like that. And so you can't always automate based on what's going to be in the account. Some people are in sales. Some people work off a commission. So you have to make certain adjustments when you're in that space and you're not sure because of the way your checking account is set up and your savings account is set up. You got to make some different adjustments and you may not be able to. All right. Brandon says, just my dividends and profit from my side hustle. That's what I'm talking about. Good morning, Mr. Dante. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's finance training. Yes, you are late to the party. We're talking about increasing, managing, and creating cash flow. Having extra money left over at the end of every month. I told you all I started off where I didn't have any. Then I got to $10, and then I got to $25, and then now I don't even want to tell y'all. I don't even want to tell y'all how much cash flow at the end of every month now, but it's not like it used to be. Tell your neighbor it's not like it used to be. Tell your neighbor this ain't that. And I thank God that this is no longer that. Automate savings, investing, and bill payments so cash is assigned a purpose before it is spent. I'm telling you all on today, you have to assign your money. Y'all didn't know that, did you? You got to really tell your dollar, you're going over here. You know, you tell kids when they act up, go sit in the corner. Because if you don't give a child instructions, they might go do whatever. Same thing with your dollars. You have to give your child your dollars instructions. I know they don't make pennies anymore, but some of y'all still got some pennies in your house. From the pennies all the way to the dollars, whatever amount, you got to give them instructions after income is received. Next year, tomorrow, no, immediately. Because if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't pay yourself first, then who will? Somebody just gonna randomly walk up and pay your future self? Here, Simon, put this to the side for when you turn 50. Most people don't do that. So you got to make sure you do it for yourself. Brandon says, me and my nana was just talking about you. I was like, he needs to get me on there to talk about the importance of investing. I do. But do you know what, Brandon? Sometimes you're busy, or I'll see that you're selling your clothing items and stuff like that on a Saturday morning. And that's usually when I go live. But maybe we can work something out that if you're busy on a Saturday morning doing your entrepreneurship, maybe we'll do it during the week. But I definitely want to get with you and talk about that and have that conversation. But I didn't want to get in the way of you making your money. So that's why I never bothered you about it. All right. That smile told me everything on your cash flow. I'm trying to have the same smile. Dante, you might already be there. You never know. You know, I'm happy for the overflow and the blessings in my life. And so, because I know where I come from, when it was paycheck to paycheck and I didn't even have that $10, it was like I couldn't breathe every month. I was struggling. I was like, how do I get out of this rat race? How do I get out of this hole? I want better for my family. I have a wife and kids that I need to take care of. So yes, I'm super excited. Yes, Courtney, you received that in the atmosphere. This ain't that. It's not that anymore. You know, that extra $10 left over in a month, you can times, whatever. But anyway, it's not how it used to be. Praise him. See, I got somebody that can testify. When you truly work on improving and creating and then managing that cash flow, it pays huge dividends. And so I hear you, Brandon. And that's why I want to emphasize this to everyone, because it makes your lifestyle comfortable. It takes away more like stress from you. You're not panicking as much. You have a legitimate game plan in place. And so ultimately, at the end of the day, guys, as you increase your cash flow, I want you all to make sure, and I constantly leave links and things for you all to click on to get started with my last and final point on today. Yes, I am preaching today, Shauna. Number 5, and finally, I want y'all to redirect your cash flow into assets. That's why I leave those links on there. Even that one link on there, I think it's called Groundfloor Investing. If you put, some of you have $100 to invest. You invest $100 into that platform, and now your money's being invested in the real estate, but you didn't have to go hunt the real estate deal down. They already have the deals. You're investing in it. They give you $50 if you invest $100. So some people say, well, you know, if I'm investing in this platform, I'm not familiar with it. Do your homework, do your due diligence, do your research. If you need to have a conversation with me, we can. But if you put $100 in and they give you $50 back, you already made 50 of it back. Now you're just looking to make the profit past $50. That's all you need to win in that investment. Now, for me, when they gave me that extra $50, guess what I did? I didn't take it out. I put it back in with the rest of my investment. And so if y'all are tuning in, you've probably seen my ground floor investment portfolio where I showed you all, and they pay me out monthly. I'm not going to log in and show you all today, but click on the ground floor investment and put $100 in there. Get an extra $50 back. Then go create a high yield interest savings account with the link on there and get that extra $25 back. You're widening the gap. You're investing in different asset classes. And so when we talk about redirect that cash flow into assets, if you get extra money, let's say you find an extra $25 in your account because you negotiated or you got rid of some bill or expense, Then go check your 401k. Let's say you're putting $100 in there every month. If you found an extra $25, maybe you just increase your 401k to $125 every month. Wherever you want to allocate it and redirect it, make sure you do that as you go through this. The goal of cash flow management is not just control, it's about growth. And that's what you want. Consistently move surplus cash into income producing assets. Of course, I like doing real estate. It's just, it makes sense to me for a number of reasons. And it has been very beneficial for me in my life through doing that. Producing assets such as real estate, dividend stocks, high yield interest savings, or business that generates reoccurring revenue, not liabilities. So when most people increase their cash flow, they go find another creative way to make another bill. They found another way to make another monthly expense. When y'all are on Amazon and these different platforms and you order something, listen to me. Make sure you check and make sure they don't have you on reoccurring monthly payments on some of that stuff. They will have you buy something and it'll be reoccurring and you'll have that thing coming in every month. It'll get convenient. It'll lull you to sleep. And now you're paying every month for something that you really don't need to be paying for every month. So pay attention to things like that as well. You want to have income producing assets. You are correct, Anitra. You don't want the liabilities. Don't get excited about extra money and find another liability that takes money away from you every month. Find an asset that you can start growing, that over time it will start putting money in your pocket every month. And then when that asset is putting money in your pocket every month, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? That asset can now pay for your liabilities. So always review every month and adjust. Review and adjust. I told you all I do this process about 3 to 4 times a year. Let's see. Courtney says, we're not trying to pay them while they're asleep. We're trying to make money while we're asleep. That's exactly it. I like that. That's what I want to do. I want to make money whether I'm asleep or whether I am awake. That's the mindset that you have to have. And why do y'all have to review and adjust monthly? I'm going to tell you why. This is so good because some people forget. Whatever adjustments you make 3 months ago, whatever adjustments you made in your finances 6 months ago, there's this word that starts with an I, that even though you had an extra $50 left over at the end of every month, it's this word that starts with the I that all of a sudden, because when it kicks in, you might only have an extra $25 left over at the end of every month. Does anybody know what that word is? What is that word that starts with an I that can eat up your cash flow if you are not locked in paying attention? If you're not hedging properly, what is that word that starts with an I that can eat up your cash flow? Make your cash flow completely disappear. Pop quiz. It starts with an I. And it happens every year. Happens year round. Because, like I said, this goes back to making sure you review and adjust monthly. Cash flow changes as life changes. You want to review monthly to identify any new leaks, any rising costs, or opportunities to reallocate money more efficiently. Small monthly adjustments lead to major long-term results. And that's what happened with me, guys. I made small long-term adjustments that led to major long-term beautiful results. I see the eyes coming in. We're going to see who has the right answer in a second. Opportunities to reallocate money more efficiently. You don't want to reallocate money to more debt or create reoccurring expenses. You want to create reoccurring income streams. All right, so let's go to our answers on here. Ladies and gentlemen, the answer, boom. The thing that can eat up your money every year and make it disappear is inflation. Now, what's interesting is Courtney said income taxes. I mean, she's technically not wrong because income taxes can, but a lot of people may get income tax return if they're strategic. So I won't count you as wrong. Of course, Shauna Johnson was correct. Anitra, you know what? That's not bad. Anitra, Sheila, and Pam put interest rates. And so when it comes to interest rates, some people on their mortgages have fixed rates. Some people have variable rates. Some people have credit cards with interest rates. So, I mean, interest rates could eat up your money too. But the silent money killer that people really don't pay attention to is inflation, the cost of living, the cost of gas, the cost of groceries and eggs. Over time, you can create some extra cash flow. But if the cost of goods and services, getting your hair done, getting haircuts and things like that, all of those things, or all of a sudden it costs you more than what it did before. And we saw inflation during the pandemic. People who rent, all of a sudden your rent went up. People who are landlords, homeowners, all of a sudden your property taxes went up. Now that's a whole nother conversation going on in our county about the property taxes and around the world. So things like that, inflation can shoot up and eat up your cash flow. But when you hedge against inflation by investing in the right asset classes, your cash flow will shoot up as well so that you're still in the green, that you're still in the positive. And so in that comment section today, I want you all to just do the clap emojis because y'all got to give yourselves a round of applause. You did awesome on today here on Coach Steele's Finance Training. And I'm excited about the testimonies that are to come. Yes, Shauna, you were correct. It is inflation. And I can't wait to see and y'all come back and say, you know what? I increased my cash flow. I found an extra $30. I found an extra $50. I made an extra $100, whatever it is. Some of y'all might be in the thousands. I'm interested in to hear your thoughts, your comments, and how you created and what adjustments you made to manage your cash flow efficiently. If you're tuning into this late, feel free to still go through the video, leave your comments. I go back and read all of them. If y'all are tuned in on Facebook, still make sure you go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to Coach Steele's Finance Training so you can get all the videos and content that comes out when I don't post it on Facebook as well. If you're on YouTube and subscribe, then you'll always get all of the updated content. And so y'all did an awesome job on today. Yes, give yourselves a round of applause. And remember all of these points. And most importantly, remember what Sheila Thomas said. We got to talk. Go talk to those service providers. See if you can find a way to save yourself some money. This is Coach Steele's Finance Training. You have a great rest of your day. I appreciate everybody who's tuned in. I appreciate everyone that has shared the live with someone else so we can spread the message of growing with our financial literacy in different